Hey everyone, Brooke here, and I want to talk about the new version release 049.0 that just came out today for Terminus. There's really two things I want to talk about here. One is with extensions, and the other is with the playlist API. So let's take a look at extensions first. So if you scroll down below any extension, you'll be able to see the four inputs here: source, sensor, fields, and data. And there's just a clarification to the documentation. You can see the top level keys in your source here. You can see how you would use those in your liquid template so that it's easy for you to grab the top level key and then you do something interesting with that data in your templates. Same thing applies for sensors, also with custom fields, and then also with data. One thing to note on the data is there's a slight change here. So if I use this example, if I wanted to access this label in my liquid template, I just need to access it by extension.data.label. That's this guy right here. In the past, the top level key was data, but now it's namespaced under extension just so that we can reduce the number of key collisions that might happen. So that's the only major change that you need to be aware of with data. For all the other inputs, source, sensors, fields, no change there. So that's extensions. Now let's take a look at playlists. So with playlists, there's actually a new API that you can use now. So let's take a look. If I flip over here, I'm actually using a program called Rapid API. And in a nutshell, all this does is it allows me to save my requests on this side. You can see how I can construct them. I can put in the body of my post request in this case. And then down below, you'll see the curl request that's auto-generated based on this data that I'm filling in up here. And then when I make that request, it'll come back with a JSON response, and you can see that response in this pane over here. So that's Rapid API in a nutshell. The reason this is important is I'm going to use this to kind of show you some of the API here. So if I hit the index, you'll see that I have that one playlist that you saw in the UI. You'll see that it has multiple items in it. And you'll see the position that they're in. And then you'll also see the screens that they're associated with, which is great. So if you wanted to create one, a new playlist, for example, you can come over here and you can see that I'm going to create a playlist here. If this is easier to see, I'm just disabling items here, but it might be easier to understand this from the curl request that's being made, because you'll see that I'm just going to create a playlist with nothing in it. So if I do that, that creates playlist ID 23. And if we flip over to the UI, and we'll see that that playlist got created. And of course, if we look at it, there's nothing in the playlist just yet. But this leads into being able to patch it. So let's say that you have a playlist like we just created. We know that the ID is 23. And we actually want to patch it because we want to add some screens to it. And I just happen to know that the two screens in my database at the moment for demonstration purposes are ID 16 and ID 15. So with that in mind, I can go ahead and make a patch request, and I can also change the name of the playlist while I'm adding these screens during the patch. So here I'm just changing the name and the label of the playlist. And so if I go ahead and create that, you'll see that the playlist got updated, and now it has these items here. So then if we flip back over to the UI, you'll see that the playlist is now called Update instead of Demo, and it has these two items in it. Really cool. So that's kind of the playlist API in a nutshell. Those are the changes there. I won't walk you through everything because you can show a playlist and you can delete a playlist, like no big deal there. But there is one thing I do want to talk about related to this, which is an update to the Screens API. So let's take a look at that too. So I'm going to go find my saved information here for screens. And in this case, I'm going to create a new screen, but I'm going to create it from just a little image that I have that I would like to render in my playlist. So the first thing I'll do is I'll create the screen, and then the thing that's new here is I can associate it with the playlist that I want to create that screen and then put that screen into a particular playlist, which wasn't possible before until the playlist API came into being. So because I know that the playlist that we just created is 23, that's the ID, I'll just fill that in here. I'll go ahead and fire off this create, and we'll see that the screen got created. Then if we go back, actually, if we wanted to use the API, I could go over here to the show and I could say 23, and then let's take a look. And you can see that screens 15 and 16 are still there, but then that new screen I just created through the Screens API, it's also there at the very end. So let's go take a look what that looks like in the UI. So if I just refresh this page again, you'll see that here's the two screens that we patched before, and then here's the third screen, but I used the Screens API to not only create the screen, but then add it to the playlist. So there, now you can kind of see the full picture here, where with the Playlist API, you're able to create and manage your playlists, but then through the Screens API, you can create screens, update screens, and be able to associate them with one of your playlists as well. So anyway, I hope you enjoy that, and I'll see you in the next version.